Hello guys, my name is Tin and I'm a music arranger and producer from Vietnam. About 5 years ago, I made a video that compares 8 piano libraries that I use, and it get quite a good views, around more than 200,000 views. So I think now it's time for a new updated video of the libraries that I've been using and exploring, and I'll be giving comments and my opinions on how each of the piano library will sound. So like my previous piano video, I will be testing all the sounds, and I will be playing the high register and then the low register, and then combine everything together and play you some improvisation on the spot for every library. So this is going to be a very long video, but I think it will help you in choosing your new piano library. Okay, so the first library we are going to look is the Ascend Modern Grand from Heaviocity. This is quite a new library, and initially when you just load it, you play it. It's very interesting. So it feels like there's a pad attached to the piano. Okay, then I tweak it. I don't really need the pad. So in the presets, we'll go to the core. Most of the library I'm doing here, it will be in default preset or the core, whatever you call it. So it will be the basic sounds of the library. So you will have an idea of what the basic sounds you get. But of course, for each library there will be always settings for you to tweak, change. So I will be mostly compare on their default sound. But some library I will tweak a little bit to make it better, and show you how to make it better. Because some library, initially their sound is not very good. But if you tweak a little bit, it will make the piano sounds much better. So this is the basic concert D for the Ascend Modern Grand. Okay, so this is the high register. This is the low register. Okay, so the whole thing together. Okay, it's not bad. In the middle and the middle high register, I feel it's quite thin. Maybe it's just a personal taste, but this is good for pop music. But for orchestral music, I will really think hard about this. Overall, it's a good piano. Okay, and the RAM usage, as you can see here, is about 350 megabyte, which is not so much, but also not the little ones. There's a lot of settings to be changed here, but I'm not going to go into much into this. This one definitely is usable for you to arrange, but not my favorite. Okay, so we move on to the next piano. We have a lot to cover. The next one is the Cinematic Studio Piano. This one is not so new. It's been around for quite some time, but it was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite few years back, 2 3 years. So this one takes around 200 megabyte. Let's hear how the initial sound. Okay, let me change the contact to make it 0. Okay, initially the sound is not bad, but I feel in the middle high register is still thin. So one of the thing I fix is I turn on the spot mic, which bring in the body of the piano more. Let's hear the high register. Okay, you can hear a lot of pedal noise because it's currently being on and more pronounced pedal noise. Let's hear the end, the low end. Okay, one thing to note is that you also, when doing piano library sound, you need to consider the touch response of each library in order to bring out the best in according to with your MIDI keyboard as well. I'm using a semi-weight MIDI keyboard. This one is the flagship MIDI keyboard from M Audio. In my previous video, I use a full weighted hammer keyboard, so the response is much better. So in a way, always use a piano library with a full weighted hammer. But anyway, this is a very good touch MIDI keyboard because I don't have my full weight MIDI keyboard right now. But usually a good piano library, apart from the sounds, it must have a good response to the keys as well. So for semi-weighted or full weighted, you should be able to bring out all the nuances, all the layers, dynamic layers of all these piano libraries. So the MIDI keyboard is also very important, but the response of the piano library with the MIDI keyboard is also important. The relationship is also important. Okay, let's hear the whole thing with this piano library. Okay, next one, we're going to check out the Cinepiano from these Cinesamples. All of my libraries are on a SSD NVMe, so this is the loading speed. I'm showing you the loading speed as well. All right, so this is a quite light piano which take only 130 megabytes of RAM. Let's hear how it sounds. The high register first. And then the low register. thing together. Okay, one of the things for this library, I will probably turn on the close mic and blend it in a little bit. So it will create a more intimate feeling. As you can see, the RAM now goes up to 260 megabytes, but the sound is much more front forward. You can hear the body of the piano. But one of the things I noticed for this library, it eats up the CPU a lot. You can hear some crackling. You see? So it's heavier on the CPU compared to other library. Next one, we're gonna check. This one actually have many presets, classical, cinematic, but I will just use the default so you guys can hear for a fair comparison. Next one we're gonna do is I don't know how to spell it, C.Bechstein digital grand. This one has a very interesting sound. Okay, let's turn on the contact. Let's hear the high register. Let's play a different key. Oops. All right, this piano library sounds how to say, quite bright. It's truly is quite different from the others. I guess the brand is different because usually the other library, they will sample the piano from Steinway or Yamaha, but this one is from Backstein. So I guess the piano itself is different already from the piano itself. It's quite bright. Sounds like a pop piano. All right. Okay, but I love the interface here. You can see the velocity you play, how hard you hit the key. Okay, and then you can even see your pedal. I'm using as a stand pedal. Okay, so the interface is very nice, but the sound is not a normal conventional grand piano sound. It may fit some style of music, but not my everyday go-to piano. Okay, the next one we're going to check is the Soundiron Emotional Piano version 2.0. So this is a updated, I guess, updated emotional piano, because I used to have an emotional piano library before. So let's check it. Let's check this one out. Okay, Okay, first thing you notice right away is the pedal volume is way too loud, way too loud. So I'm decreasing the pedal volume. Let's see. Okay, around this level. And of course, the name says it all, the emotional piano. So it's quite dark, mellow. Yeah, and then you can hear the tweak, the cracking of the piano strings when you change. Okay. Let's hear how it's the end. And this piano is very good. We respond to the light touch. Oops, sorry. Okay, not bad for a, how to say, more of an emotional piece. If you are composing, arranging a very emotional piano solo, or with the vocals, that it needs this melancholy feeling of a piano, sad piano kind of. But for pop, I don't think it's, even for orchestra or film score, I don't think this will fit. It sounds very intimate. When choosing a piano library, I think it's important to realize the philosophy and the direction of that library, so that you can apply to your music making, because everyone arrange differently in styles. Even different songs in one style, it requires different approach on the piano, not just piano but any sounds. That's why I have so many piano libraries, so I can choose from, so it suits when the times come, it suits my song, it suits my needs. Okay, so that is emotional piano, and I like one thing they do to this library is they have many version. So they have the lead version. I think it will be lighter on RAM. This one is currently now 400 megabytes. So they really think of the for the user as well. Okay, so next one we're going to check out is the Pearl Concert Grand. This one I used to do a video review before. It's a version 1. This is updated version 2. It's one of the biggest piano library in terms of using RAM, and I call it a monster piano. But the sound itself is also very big, very monstrous. So we'll check it out. And this is one of my favorite. Yeah. You see the piano, even the piano resonance is so good. It's fade out and it's so natural. This is such a good library, but the only downside is it uses so much RAM, and one of the best library ever in my opinion. And I think it's very useful for classical piano solos and orchestral pieces. And this is a default sound. I haven't tweaked anything. I think I can make it even better with some tweaking according to my taste. But this is such a good library. So if you want to buy this, I will recommend it. But make sure you have at least 32 gigabyte of RAM, because if not, you will have no more RAM space left for other libraries. Okay, then the next one we're going to check out is the Session Key Grand Y. This one, I think the name Grand Y meaning modeling after the Yamaha Grand. They have a Grand S, which is maybe modeling after the Steinway, but the Grand S is really not good. So I don't have it. But the Grand Y is quite okay for pop music. Let's hear it. Okay, it's not as thick as the Pearl Concert Grand, but it's sometimes it's a bit thinner. It's cut through the mix easier. Sometimes with other instruments, especially for pop music. Let's check out with the lid open, how to see how it sounds. A little bit brighter. Okay, not my favorite, but it has its use. For pop, yeah. Once again, I say it's a lot pop music because I do arrange pop music apart from orchestral music you can find on my YouTube channel. Because in my country, most of the clients they just want to arrange pop music, so orchestral music is just my personal hobbies. Okay, so next one we're going to check is the orchestral grants from Orchestral Tools. Orchestral Tools makes one of the best orchestral library, strings, brass, woodwinds. One of my favorite library manufacturers. But when it comes to piano, they are not the greatest. Let's see how it sounds. Let's hear the low end. Hear the top end. Okay, for me this piano it doesn't sound great at all, and it takes up 1.1 gigabyte RAM. So for me, I really don't like this. That's why I say orchestral tools make great libraries when it comes to orchestra sound, but not piano. The piano sounds thin, weak, and reverb. And the thing is that there's not much setting you can tweak it. So you're pretty much stuck with the sound it offers. Maybe you just turn off the 3 mics, to bring in the close mic more. But the sounds is not good at all. I usually don't critique library, but this one I really have to say it's not up to the standards. So I don't recommend this library. So the next one we are going to demo and review is the Noir, native instrument Noir. I don't know if I speak it right, but this is my go-to piano. This is my currently my top favorite, and I mean it's really good. The sounds is amazing and it's very versatile for pop, for cinematic, for classicals. Okay, so let's check how it sounds. All right, I first of all I love how the its velocity is responding. Super smooth, super stable, super even. Well controlled. I don't know how they do it, but it's so well controlled. All right, that is the basic sound, but the thing is that this is a great library because many of its presets is very usable, and so you don't need to spend time and tweak and change, and you just use it right away. I'll demo some of my favorite. So the emotional presets. Let's choose a key that is dark. For me, let's choose a. All right, that's very how to say dark and deep kind of piano. Another one is the scoring piano, which I love to do when I compose for film trailers and scorings. Alright, very luscious and very delicious sound. The smooth and deep is also quite good, but the pedal is a bit loud, I think. Yeah, the pedal is quite loud. Alright, I made a video separately on the Noir. You can check my other YouTube videos. So I won't go too much into the Noir, but it's just a brilliant and very usable, very friendly. The UI is very straightforward. You can tweak and change a lot of settings, and it's work right away, and it's very flexible. I think It's the best piano library right now you can get, because speaking from experience, I own quite a lot. So Noir is my go-to piano, and it just sounds marvelous. So there's a few library left. Let us check out the Midnight Grand. Though this one is a very interesting and unconventional piano. But it sounds good. It's really sound good for cinematic writing or film scoring. Okay, it's really good, but it's not your usual piano, because the attached to it is the clunky and the string sounds. And I don't think it can be turned up even if you turn off all the layers. Just leave the raw layers. It's still there. But I mean, the sound, it's with all the layers, it's really deep. It sounds the depth of the piano there. Okay, it gives me a lot of inspiration, you know. All the things I'm playing is improvisation on the spot. Okay, so that's Fracture Sounds Midnight Grand. Not a very popular piano VST, but for me it's very interesting. It has that colors, and it's not like on the RAM. It uses about 500 megabytes of RAM. But if this is some color that you're aiming for, just go ahead for it. The next one we'll check out is Montclarion Hall Piano. Okay, so this is more of a churchy kind of piano. For me, it has a vintage sound, you know, a kind of old piano sound. The sound is not rounded, not full, but it's very interesting when you hit it hard. It's really feel like an old piano. And this piano library, I feel the velocity is not very even. I mean, the response is not as good as other library because it's harder to control. The response is not very linear. Alright, so that's Montclarion Hall Piano. Alright, the last but not least, is the Model 7 Grand. This is one of my favorite as well. So this is from Chocolate Audio, the 88 series. Let's listen to the default sound first. Okay, the last but not least is the Chocolate Audio 88 series, model 7 grand. Okay, initially the sound is not very impressive, right? Initially the sound is not impressive, but when you go to the presets, you go all in, meaning all of the samples are put in, all the mics, and it takes up nearly 800 megabytes of RAM. That's when it's really bring the piano to life. Okay, so sound much thicker, more alive. But for me, I would probably tweak a little bit more. Okay, but for me personally, I would increase the loads a bit, pull down the body a bit, and put on air. And then I would put the lid semi-open. It's not fully open, and I would down a bit on the shrubs mics. I will leave the Octava and the Neumann M149 a bit higher, and then turn down the reverb a little bit, make a better sound. Sound much better, huh? Okay, so that concludes my videos of comparing the updated libraries that I used to do one video. So I hope you guys can find the library that you are interested in, and it can help you to decide which you will be buying or exploring. I hope this video will help. If you like my video, please subscribe and put a thumbs up. If you don't like, you can come and put a thumbs down. But anyway, I appreciate you guys are watching this, and thank you for taking time to listen, and I'll see you guys in the next video.